Hi and welcome to episode 4 of Kingdom Business TV. My name's Wes Hone, and for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about how to do business from a kingdom perspective, which is going to be super, super cool. Listen, if you have been following along and you're enjoying this series, I need to hear about it, okay? That's the oxygen that makes me want to keep going. So if you're getting value, then do me a favor, write something in the comments below. Right, let me know what you're thinking. What's your biggest take home? You know, even just a thumbs up or a fist emoji would make me happy. But if you can write your 2 cents in there, if you're on YouTube right now, write in the comments below. If you're on Facebook, write in the comments below. It would mean the world to me if you would do that. I like to get that feedback, see what's working, and give you more of what matters. So let's go to our first caller. We're going to mix it up today. We'll do a call. We'll do some scripture. I've got some stuff to teach. And I think I'm very likely to go on a rant today when it comes to money. All right, so I'm basically just going to go on and give you a bit of structure on how to think about your business and how to deploy the cash to get the return you want. Who have we got, Craig?
Daryl.
Hey, Daryl, it's Wes Hone. You're on Kingdom Business TV.
Oh, how you going, mate?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Perfect. All right. What can I answer for you today?
We've been doing a bit of walking around the place and talking to businesses, and got a good rapport with all of those businesses. But obviously, you don't you go get married on the first dance. So how do we keep following up in that environment so that we've got some way of contacting them further beyond where we've been?
Yeah. So you've been doing bold calls where you've been physically visiting people?
Physically visiting people.
Perfect. All right. So, so, I mean, what was the general consensus? Like, what was the feedback as you went around to these people and said g'day?
It's pretty good. It's good to see you around. Nice to know what you get up to. So it's a good reaction on there, but there's no immediate need for our services. So we just got to keep the momentum going so that when the need arises, we're the ones that they think of.
Out of curiosity, Daryl, how many did you do?
Sorry?
Out of curiosity, how many did you do? How many people did you visit?
On that particular day, that was about 10 or 12.
How many have you done in total?
Or probably overall up to 100.
Perfect. I'm curious, Daryl, out of that 100, how many were rude to you?
Oh, none.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yes.
I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to the benefit of everybody else. You know, we build this stuff up in our mind that it's going to be really bad. And it just never is. And if you had said 1, it still wouldn't have mattered. Like 1 out of 100 that's rude to you is not the end of the world. All right, to answer your question, you said there was no immediate need. I would beg to differ. I would suggest to you that out of 100, there were some that probably conditioned to say no thanks, because that's what we all do. But there would be some in that 100 that are somewhat interested on the scale. There would be 1 or 2 that are really keen. There'd be some that are less and less and less, all the way down to the ones that legitimately aren't. For me, we've got to what we call open the loop, right? We've got to start that continual dialogue. You're probably going to have to ring these people every 90 days for the rest of your life. Because if they're not ready now, they'll be ready in 90 days. And if they're not ready in 90, they'll be ready in 180. And so that it will roll on, right? At some point, they're going to have a problem with their business that you'll be able to go in and fix. And that's a time issue. So the way I kind of look at this, I look at this differently, right? You've been to visit 100 people. Let's say you've collected 100 business cards. That is like stock in a way. So a retail shop buys 50 pairs of the same shoe, and they stick them out the back, and then they sell them down over time. You have got that list of 100 names, right? That you haven't bought the stock, but they're kind of sitting there. You've traded time for them. Now you need to work that list of 100 to sell it down over time. Okay, so just like a shoe shop might take 1 year to sell out all 50 pairs of one type of shoe, you might take 1 year to start to convert these people into customers. So for you, that's how a service business is like a product-based business, right? That becomes stock for you. So, I mean, based on the conversation, I would probably just come away with my list of 100 and I'll rank them into A, B, C, Ds, right? And if that's too hard, A, B, C. Who did I get on well with, who showed some level of interest, who is the middle ground, and who absolutely said no, right? And then I'll just get on the phone to all the A's. And then I wouldn't ring them up to sell them, right? I probably wouldn't go too hard on the first phone call, right? I would probably go along the lines of, hey, I dropped in last week. I know time's not right for you now, but I want to start a conversation with you. Can I send you something? And that would be but it's got to be value, right? It can't just be promotional material. It's got to be value, right? Can I send you an article I did on my business or the industry, or can I send you a video on some tips and some tricks? And then even if they say no, send it anyway, right? Because you've got their email address. So, but you're going to have to drive it. So after you've done that, maybe you call back and you say, hey, listen, I just want to ask this quick question, and you ask a question that kind of leads into some answers. And then once you've kind of given them some value, you actually have earned the right at that stage to call them up and just, hey, listen, I want to come in and do an appraisal of your business. I want to see if I can help you out. It's going to cost you nothing. And then you basically go for the hard sell. But too many people don't go for the hard sell. They don't build any value and they don't go for the hard sell. They're too busy waiting for people to come to them. If you wait for people to come to you, you're leaving millions of dollars on the table. You've got to ring these people and just be. You're obviously not shy. You obviously don't mind doing the walk-in. So now you'd be totally fine to get on the phone and say, hey, I popped in to see you. I gave you that value. Hope it was good. Listen, I'm doing this free thing. A free meeting, a cheaper service. I've got some offer on the table. Do you want to take it right now? And ring the 100. And I bet you 4, 5, 6 of those people are going to say yes. Right? But you're going to farm that group over time. But the mistake that most people make is they farm and they never hunt. Right? You've got to farm and then you've got to go out and spear an animal and drag it back into the cave. Otherwise, no one gets to eat. Right? So that's what I'd be suggesting to you, right? Just because you did 100 bold calls and no one said yes, that doesn't mean it's not a yes in 3 months' time or 3 weeks' time. You've just got to go milk that list. That they will unsubscribe from your emails and they'll tell you where to go if you overstep the mark. So to me, anything short of them taking out a restraining order against you means they're still keen. Right? If they take a restraining order, you're calling too much. If they're not, you can keep going. That's kind of like my barometer. Not too many people are not hungry enough to play that hard. That's where the money is.
Yeah. No, I think I've got some ideas that go back to them with something of value that's current. Because NBN is a big issue at the moment, so we can talk to people about that, and they can give some worthwhile, usable information for them, and that'll be a good excuse to keep going.
That's right.
Yep.
And you've got to do it, but do it quickly. Don't wait months.
Yep.
Weeks, get them back on the phone, because then you're top of mind. Daryl, you're awesome. Yep. I'll see you soon.
Catch up.
Pleasure.
Yeah, well done.
You've got to hunt. You've got to farm a list, and then at some point you've got to go get them. You've got to turn that customer into cash. No one's talking like this in the Christian world because we're supposed to be nicely. We can be nicely. We also got to make some sales. Why? Because we can't distribute what we don't create. We can't go funding projects unless we build a business first. All right, scripture of the day. Scripture of the day. Proverbs 10:4 goes like this. Lazy hands make a man poor, but diligent hands bring wealth. Oh my gosh, does the Bible talk about wealth? Yes, it does. Oh no, I know what it means. It means like spiritually feeling good, like my family, my friends. It does. It means thy substance. It means our entire life, which also includes our financial prosperity. It includes that. Don't like it? Go to the concordance. All right, so lazy hands make a man poor, but diligent hands brings wealth. So here's an interesting concept. I meet a lot of people who have bought into the lie that when you're a Christian, God's going to do the work for you. You've kind of got to show up a little bit, and he's going to bring all the increase. It's a very nice message. It tickles ears, but I do not have one story of myself or anybody I know who's built a great business that would tell you that they didn't do the hard work. Diligent work leads to wealth. You really have to work hard. really have to work hard. It's not going to happen by mistake. It's going to happen by intention. And so, people come to me, I'm building a lifestyle business. As soon as I hear somebody say I'm building a lifestyle business, my next thought is you're going to fail because you're going to treat it you've got to build so much momentum in the first 3 to 4 years of a business to be able to have a lifestyle business that when you go out thinking lifestyle business, you lose because you don't put enough intense focus on it. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but what about all the other areas of my life? Yeah, you need to manage those too. You can work hard and still go to heaven. It's actually possible. In fact, the word work and the word worship in Scripture is the same word. It's the word avodah, A-V-O-D-A-H, okay? We were born to work hard. It's a form of worship to God when we work hard. Now, here's an interesting thought though. Maybe you need to rationalize the things you're involved in that early 1, 2, 3 years of business. Because you do have a finite amount of attention. You've got 24 hours. You've got to manage your spouse if you've got one, kids if you've got them, health if you've got that. You've got to manage all of that. But you don't have to join the golf club. You don't have to be playing golf, right? You don't have to be, volunteering half a day at church. If you're called to business, go into the marketplace. That's where your anointing is, okay? You don't have to be part of the bridge club, right? You need to really think about your week, your day, your month, and rationalize. There's more than enough time in a day, right, for you to worship God, to be great to the people He's entrusted you with, to look after your health and build a business. But there may not be enough time in your day or your week to do all the other stuff that you feel like you need to do to find balance. You don't need balance. You need to really look after the people God's entrusted you with, look after yourself so you can run the distance and build a business. And everything else will probably fall outside of that. I know for me that if I was to take on a hobby, for example, let's say it was golf, it would be my family that suffered, not my business. It would be my family. It would take out the weekend and then it would be less time with my family. I'm not prepared to do that. I want to be so intentional about my business that when I'm not at business, I'm with my family. And that's it. And then church. That's it. That's my entire life. I will pull back, go really deep with the things that matter, and then grow it out, okay? That's how you can have enough time to invest in your business so that your business grows. Stop doing the stuff that doesn't matter, okay? Lazy hands make a man poor. What's lazy? Lazy is getting up late, going to bed early, watching stupid TV shows. Okay, they're activities that don't help you build a business. That's what a lazy person does. They say one thing and their behavior is in a different direction. But if you're diligent, it will bring wealth. Diligent means making the most of every minute. Minutes matter. Every minute in your business needs to be traded for something building your business. If you get to the point where minutes matter and it becomes a mantra in here, then minutes matter in your whole life. So you don't have to be at the office for 20 hours a day. Because if minutes matter and you make every minute matter, at the end of an 8, 9, 10-hour day, you've created enough momentum. Now you can go home and minutes matter with the people that matter. And then you get this great life. You can be present and everybody wins. So just think about all the stuff you're doing where you're bleeding time, cut that rubbish out of your life and go deep in your business and you will get wealth. All right, Craig, do we have a second caller?
Yes, we do.
And who do we have?
We have Louisa.
Louisa.
This is Louisa.
Louisa, it's Wes Hone. You're on Kingdom Business TV.
Excellent. How are you today, Wes?
Great. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Awesome. What can I help you with?
Sure. I was wondering if you had any tips about maintaining work-life balance as we work, because I find myself spending a lot of hours in my business because I enjoy it, but it also means that I spend all my spare time doing that, and it's not very healthy, and I have hit burnout a few months ago. What would you recommend?
Well, ironically, I just went on a long rant about exactly this. Let me tell you what Proverbs 10:4 says. 10:4 says, lazy hands make a man poor, but that could be women too, but diligent hands bring wealth. Work-life balance is an interesting thing. I believe in it and I don't all at the same time. I believe in it because, as sons and daughters of God, we do need to juggle multiple areas of our life. But I don't believe it in this kind of politically correct airy-fairy mentality. Let me ask you, are you married?
No, I'm not.
No kids?
No kids.
Okay. So obviously, if they were in your world, then the Lord's entrusted those to you, in which case we would really have to build a plan to facilitate their well-being, okay? So, family comes before business if you took a timeline of events in Scripture. So I'd be having a very different conversation with somebody who has kids and a spouse. But the fact that you don't, now you hit burnout. I feel like I can relate to you, because if I didn't have a wife and kids, I would probably work 18 hours a day, because I love it, right? For me, it's joy. And that's what you were saying is something similar. In my experience, if we get really, really focused during our business day, if we start to live by the mantra that minutes matter, every minute needs to be accountable for something. And what that does is it shifts the way we think. It means that when somebody calls us and says, or SMSs and says, I'm 7 minutes late for a meeting, we don't jump on YouTube and watch something silly. We use that 7 minutes to raise 3 invoices, call some debtors, run a new Facebook ad. If we actually jealously guard the small amounts of time, so instead of having 30-minute meetings, we have 90-minute meetings where we stand up and don't sit down. If we jealously guard every minute of the day, we can usually do more than enough in an 8 to 10 hour day that we don't have to work all day and all night, and then we don't get burnout. If we just become super intentional and accountable over every minute in a working day, then we can park the day knowing we did a really good job and we played full out. Then we can go home and be with the people that matter, exercise, rest, do those sort of things, and sleep. It's when we are not accountable for the minutes that we feel like we need to stay and stay and stay and stay to get enough done. And that's what eats into the time for the rest of the things in our life. So we just need to be fully intentional about every minute. And there's a few fun things you can do about that. I mean, I remember I was coaching a guy once who was a shocking procrastinator. And so I made an alarm go off every 1 minute for an entire day. And then he had to work out what task did he use that 1 minute for that helps him grow a business, right? And after a while, he really realized that, hang on a minute, like I'm really intentional. For the first half of the day, he was shocking. He's like, I don't know where my time's going. It was all given on stuff that didn't matter. After a time, he's like, hang on a minute, if I'm accountable for every minute, he saw his results increased and then he got it. If we do that, we don't have to worry about all the other stuff around us. And it's the only practical way that I know that you get so much more done that you don't have to stay at the office. And and then you'll find that you'll have balance by default, because you'll have the spare time and you'll fill it with other things, and then life will become sweeter. I could go on a rant. Good. I could go on a rant about boundaries and all this sort of stuff, and to me they don't mean anything, right? Just go really, really hard in your day and you will feel like you've done enough, and then you go home and the rest will work itself out.
That sounds good, and I'll give it a go.
You're awesome, Louisa. Bless you.
You too. Bye, Wes. Thank you.
Very good. Very, very good. All right, I'm just going to draw something up here on the board. I want to talk to you about your stewardship when it comes to building a business, right? Especially for you, you're either in the startup phase, I call startup phase year 1 to 4, or some of you might have been in business a lot more than 4 years, but it hasn't really grown. I want to talk to kind of that group now and kind of go, okay, well, how do we manage this? Let me draw you a little bit of an equation, right? So you have in your business right now some revenue, right? Top line revenue. So now I'm just assuming that it's enough that it's enough to count. Some money is coming in, okay? Let's say, I don't want to get too bogged down in some minor details. I want you to conceptually see the plan here, right? But you've got some revenue, whether that be, $10,000 a year because it's a hobby business, or whether it be $10,000 a month because you've replaced your job, or whether it's, $10,000 a day, whatever the business is. You've got some revenue coming in. And then out of that revenue, you don't get to keep it all, right? Unfortunately. So then what happens is you end up with free cash flow. So that's another word for profits, basically. So 2 types of cash flow, right? There's cash flow and free cash flow. Cash flow is the money comes in. Free cash flow is the bit you get to keep. It's the profitability, but maybe not like a profit and loss statement, because profit and loss statement doesn't tell you, balance sheet expenses are not on a profit and loss. So a profit and loss may show a paper profit, but it actually may not be that because you've had interest and leases and stuff like that on the back end. But we're talking here about the actual physical cash that comes in your business, and the actual physical cash that you get to keep at the end of the month or week. Any real time frame, doesn't really matter, okay? Now, what happens is we've got some free cash flow, but we don't get to keep all of that, right? We don't get to keep it all because, for example, there's some tax to be paid on these things, there are other things you've got to pay on these things. So we have a lower number, right? And we would call that our reinvestable capital. That's the amount of money that we can reinvest. So after we've got free cash flow, we've got some taxes, maybe some balance sheet expenses, and then we got some, a number down here that we can reinvest. Here's the question that we've got, right? You can spend that money on one of two things. You can spend it on your business or your lifestyle, and you get to choose. But where do most people spend it? Most people are spending it on their lifestyle and not on their business. And that's the mistake. It's a handbrake. It's going to mean you go slow. You're not going to build a huge amount of awareness. You're not going to invest in your business. And it's going to mean that you grow slower and you don't build the momentum. You don't get the exponential curve that you need to take off. Because, so from here, right, we can invest that into lifestyle or the business. Every single dollar that you take out of this equation and spend on your lifestyle is gone forever. Every dollar that comes through your business that you invest in your lifestyle is gone forever. It's a one transaction equation. In, out, gone. Every dollar that comes through here and goes back in your business multiplies. You put it back in the machine, make some more. You put it back in the machine, make some more. And that's how you build momentum. That's how you win. Now, so it doesn't matter whether you're doing 10 grand a year, 10 grand a month, 10 grand a day. It's the same equation, right? The money deployed back in your business will help you multiply the money. Every time you drive through the drive-through of a coffee shop, right, and you spend $6 on a, super large mocha, shocker, extra sprinkles and triple dollop of cream, that's $6 that you're not putting back in your business that can never multiply in the future. Every single time you buy something you don't need, a bit of clothing you don't need, go on a holiday you don't need, buy a cruise you don't need, Apple products you don't need, every time you do that, you're wasting the money. Every dollar that you put back in your business will multiply and make you money in the future. You get to choose. It's the little amounts often that make the biggest difference. You don't have to have big checks in business to redeploy them into your business for it to work. It's little bits often. Put back in. For example, just an example. Facebook right now is about $12 per 1,000 impressions for running ads on Facebook. Every time you spend $12 on your lifestyle, you could have had 1,000 more people see your message. Which do you need right now? If you're building a business, build a business. Every dollar that you take out, I don't mind if you take dollars for your lifestyle, as long as you start to have the conversation of, what do I need right now? Because this money's gone forever. If I redeploy it in the business, I'll have more money in the future. I can buy that thing and have more money. You get to choose, right? It is a daily walk. But at the end of the day, there's only so much money that's coming out of your business right now. You're either going to, spend it on lifestyle or invest it in your business. And the little amounts often will be the compound effect that will buy you the more customers to get the more money, to buy the more customers, to get the more money, to buy the more customers. And then at some point you'll blow up and you'll put a team around you. They'll make you money. Then you can have the lifestyle that you want. But in the first few years or in that real momentum stage, you need to redeploy as much money back in the business as you can. The little bits really matter. Craig, do we have another caller?
Yes, we do.
Great. Who do we have?
We have Nick.
Nick. Awesome. Fill up the cash cow. You have to answer within 3 rings, otherwise you don't win the prize.
And answer with the right phrase.
Well, Nick, I was feeling generous. I was just about to give away 5.
Nick speaking.
Nick, it's Wes Hone. You're on Kingdom Business TV.
How you going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Perfect. Mate, what can I help you with today?
Look, over the last 12 months, we've had some considerable growth. We've, as we've scaled up, admin's starting to cost us a fair bit, which is eroding our profit margins and reducing some of our service levels due to the increased workload in the back end. And we're having a higher churn rate. What the question is how much of your profits do you sacrifice to implement like a SaaS system to reduce the time spent on those repetitive tasks to increase the client retention over the marketing dollar to bring in more business?
Yeah, good question. What's your industry?
Garden maintenance.
Where are you based?
Melbourne.
So if I was giving you the ability to give a plug to the world right now, what's a URL people could go to find out more?
njlandscapes.com.au.
njlandscapes.com.au. Awesome. All right, so what would I do? First and foremost, yes, I would certainly go software over people, right? Not forever, because you need people around you, but it will allow you to streamline for some of the margin to the bottom line, which you can redeploy in marketing or customers. So I think it's a smart move to go SaaS. When do you jump in? There's a couple of different ways you can go, right? Within SaaS world, there's usually multiple players in any area. So you can start with a free one, and then you can increase over time. They're usually actually really easy to plug and play. Like you could use one for 12 months, export your entire data out, and import it into the next CRM, and you're running from day one. And if that gives you more features and costs you a bit more, you could do that for a while, and then go to the big one. So that's one way to go. That protects your cash flow. But here's what I would do. If you are really looking to grow fast in a short amount of time, I wouldn't bother going through that journey. I'd go through the pain of having the most expensive SaaS product that I could get that did the job. So for two reasons. Firstly, it gives you all the features from day one. Secondly, it's a decision that's done, it's behind you, and now you can run. So there's one will conserve capital, one will make you faster out of those two ideas. If I had to choose one, in a business that I wanted to scale fast, I would do the second one. I would just invest in the product. Didn't really matter what it cost me because it's going to save me admin staff. It's certainly going to save me because when admin come in and then quit, right, then that's a nightmare. That actually has quite a high cost to it. Not a physical cost in dollars. You're probably paying the staff members the same amount, but the retraining time, the dip in productivity costs you money. So I would probably invest into the best product you could get. And that's going to make your staff do a better job. You'll probably pick up the cost of the SaaS 10 times over by keeping your admin staff longer, right? And so it's just a good investment from day one. So I'd get in there and I would go and utilize it the best I possibly can. And then once you've got the SaaS, here's an interesting thought that just popped into my mind. I would get the admin team to completely create the systems manual for how to run the system, the SaaS system, so that when they leave in the future, it's much easier to train the new person coming in. They can basically train themselves. So I would have my current admin team implement and document the change to the new SaaS system, and that would de-risk you into the future when those people quit.
Right. So does that, because there's kind of two ways. You can buy the SaaS systems online and get a subscription cloud-based system, or the other option is you're saying go all the way in and start developing your own SaaS systems and build them. So obviously the latter part is very expensive. In an ideal world, I'd love to use a lot of the capital to do that. But the concern I have in building a SaaS system completely customized for our business is, the cost of not getting it right, could severely impact the business. And that's my concern in going all in.
Yep. I probably wouldn't go all in terms of writing my own, right? So quite often, sometimes you cannot get everything you want from one SaaS system, right? That's probably true for any fast-growing business. But there's a product now called Zapier, Z-A-P-I-E-R, I think it is. Basically, it allows you to pull many CRMs together, right? So you can basically, it just publishes their APIs. It can link the things together, and you can basically get what you want. What it does is it links a couple of CRMs or SaaS systems together to give you what you want, and that will cost you a fraction of doing it yourself. You could probably, you could jump online to someone like Upwork, find somebody that can code in a language you like, and get them to tie everything together, and that's a fraction of the cost of doing it yourself. I don't. When I said all in before, I guess I meant something already created, but there might be a really expensive one. Creating your own, I've seen it done. I did it with a plumbing business, and it worked incredibly well. But the teething problems were huge. When you fell out with that developer, taking someone new on was an absolute nightmare. And those sort of things. So I'd want to see you pretty far advanced before you went and did one yourself. But if you could find a CRM that did most of it, or a SaaS that did most of what you're looking for, and then another one that could supplement it, get someone to just stitch those things together to give you what you want. And if that's probably a 90-day project. And then once that's done, then you've got the capacity to run, and you can scale quickly from there.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
You're awesome, Nick. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Bless you, mate. Well, that's it for episode 4. If you liked it, tell me. I want to know what you like about it. Give me a comment in the comments below. That's the oxygen that makes me want to come back and do this. So until next time, go well, make profits, make those calls, follow up, and be diligent, and you will get wealth. See ya.